running game. Say my name, say my name. You acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby. Why the sudden change? Say my name, say my name. If no one is around you, say baby I love you. You ain't running game. Say my name, say my name. You acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby. Better say my name. Other day I would call, you would say, baby how's your day? But today it ain't the same. Every other word is a yeah, okay. Could it be that you are at the crib with another lady? If you took it there, first of all, let me say, I am not the one to sit around and play. So prove yourself to me. If I'm the girl that you claim, why don't you say the things that you said to me yesterday? I know you say that I am a stupid thing. Something's going down, that's the way it seems. Shouldn't be the reason why you acting strange. Say my name, say my name. If no one is around you, say baby I love you. You ain't running game. Say my name, say my name. You acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby. Why the sudden change? Say my name, say my name. If no one is around you, say baby I love you. You ain't running game. Say my name, say my name. You acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby. Better say my name.
Be like, damn, slow down. I know you see it clean, adjusting her crown. She been knocked down, but she never stayed down. She been living life like it's her playground. And they be like, damn, slow down. They can get just.
Hey y'all, good evening. You guys are tuned in with All the Way Home with Audrey, where we discuss trending news, topics, and more every day on your way home. If you guys like this type of content, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you guys like true crime, be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Thursday for true crime content. Now, as I advised you guys yesterday, because we are keeping up with Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez trial, I am not doing any true crime content this week. Just bear with me though, because that may change. I may drop a video. Now that we got that out the way, come in. Please like the live on your way in. I have my chat set to subscribers only because y'all not gonna play with me. This day 2 of the Tory Lanez trial. Y'all know he is facing 20 plus years in prison if he is found guilty of these charges. So this is a very serious criminal trial, and it is not being recorded. So we are getting our updates from freelance news media outlets who are sitting in and keeping us updated. So I have a few videos, and I have a New York Times article where they did a play-by-play update on the first half of the second day of trial that took place today. Let me get my haze out the way. Hey, Anisha. Hey, Cece. Hey, AK. Hey, Nicole. Hi to Angela. So you guys know yesterday when we left off, we only knew what happened on day 1 right before lunch. And that was just like the opening statements. Both parties, the defense team and the prosecution, they both stated, what they are hoping to prove. And I broke down what reasonable doubt was and how, it's the defense is basically relying on reasonable doubt to show that Tory Lanez may have not did it. They don't have to do much but prove that it's plausible that Kelsey, which was the other person in the car, did it. All they have to prove is that, and he can come out with a win. Now that is regarding every case, but he was charged last week with unlawful use of a fire weapon, and that is not going to have a jury. The judge is actually going to decide his fate on that, so we don't have any information regarding that charge just as of yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually play what happened on the first half yesterday just to give you guys a recap, and then I'm going to give you play the videos of what happened after lunch yesterday, and then we're going to get caught up with today. Okay, so for the people who missed it, I'm going to play what happened day 1 before lunch.
We had to pause midway through for lunch. Better than TV. If you watch the prosecution's opening statement, you would say guilty. If you then watch the defense's opening statement, you would say, what the hell is the prosecution thinking charging him? Basically, the prosecution started with this story. They said that, hey, they're all at the party. and Tory is leaving the party with Meg. They're in the car. An argument breaks out, during which Meg says and insults his skills as a rap artist. This leads to a situation where she gets out of the car and he shoots at her feet and yells, "Dance, bitch." And then she ends up at a hospital, and a doctor takes out 3 fragments of bullet wounds from her foot. Now, if you just hear, and the prosecution says that Kelsey, the other woman in the car, is going to testify that Tory shot Meg. And Kelsey has a text message where she texts somebody that, hey, Tory shot Meg. And then the rest of the prosecution's case is based on all these calls and texts where Tory's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so drunk." He never says that I shot him. He's just like, "Oh, I'm just so sorry. I'm so drunk." So question what he's apologizing for. So that's the prosecution's case. Seems pretty easy. Then the defense comes up, and man, it gets spicy. First, the defense goes, they're not telling you about half of what's going on. The most important thing they're not telling you about an eyewitness who saw 2 women fighting, Kelsey and Meg. And so let's talk about why them 2 are fighting. Let's talk about how she was in the front seat. The gun was caught in the front seat. Let's talk about how she might have gunpowder. She does have gunpowder. Let's talk about how this has nothing to do with the fight between Tory and Meg and everything to do with the fight between Meg and Kelsey. And then the defense starts dropping the bombs. He basically says this, that they're in the car. Yeah, they left. But do you know why they left? They left because Kylie and Tory were in the pool together. And Kelsey and Meg both felt some type of way about that, to the point that Meg felt really some type of way about that. And she was really trying to go, to the point that eventually, because of how Meg is acting, this is according to the defense, Kylie Jenner goes to Meg Thee Stallion and says, "It's time for you to leave." They all leave. The defense's point is what happens in the car is this. Tory questions Kelsey, "Hey Kelsey, why are you backing up Meg for me trying to, get it on with Kylie Jenner? Meg has been snaking men from you your whole life. I hooked up with you, Kelsey, and then Meg went behind your back and hooked up with me. And Kelsey, this is not the first time. You had been hooking up with Ben Simmons. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with Ben Simmons. You had been hooking up with the baby. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with the baby." And so the defense starts dropping all these grenades. The crowd is captivated. The jury's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And there's every reason to believe that there could have been a fight here, not between Tory and Meg, but between Meg and Kelsey. And the shooting could have not been Tory. It could have been done by any one of the other people in that car. What does all of this mean? Well, I'll tell you a couple things. First, Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's husband, is going to testify, so this will continue to be must-see TV. 2, the judge is terrific. I expect a very fair trial. The lawyers on the defense side are terrific. I don't know what the government lawyer was doing, giving an opening presentation that made it seem like the most open and shut case ever, when in fact there are huge questions, including an eyewitness who saw 2 women fighting, suggesting that you have to explain that theory to the jury, and you didn't. So I don't love the prosecution's opening in that regard.
Okay, so that was just a recap of what happened yesterday right before lunch. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the video of what happened after lunch yesterday on day 1. I felt like it was the lawyer here was basically just breaking things down. Again, remember, you guys, we are relying solely on the media outlets to keep us updated on this case. It is not televised, so they are literally going off of their recollection of what they can remember is being said during trial. You guys, this is a very, very tedious job, so I give my hats off to these people. So let's get caught up on what happened on the rest of yesterday. You're not late, Brina. We literally just started. I'm just recapping yesterday, and then we're going to get into today's, because it's a lot, y'all. This is crazy. This trial, like, they knew not to put this on TV, but they should have. It would have made a lot of money. But let's get into day 2.
So this
Not it. Sorry, 1 second. This one.
All right, we wrapped up the first day of Tory Lanez trial testimony. Let me tell you what happened at the end of the day. This will be a 2-parter. On this first part, let's cover what prosecutors believe is their key piece of evidence after the testimony they expect to get from Meg and the other woman who's in the... All right, we're back with the rest of the update in Tory Lanez. So we are taking our afternoon break. There's going to be more testimony at the end of the day. But right now, let me catch you up on what's happened since lunch. The defense continued and concluded their opening statement. They confirmed that their theory of the case is going to be that Kelsey was the shooter, Tory was just trying to break up the fight. Then the prosecution went up. They put on a police officer as their first witness. This is the police officer who arrived at the scene of the shooting. He testified about how he saw gun casings, blood spatter, This was a big mistake in my opinion because the defense attorney ended up tearing this police officer's testimony to shreds. He basically got the officer to admit that they did not use the proper evidence markers to mark and identify the location of every piece of evidence. So the police cannot tell you where blood was found exactly in relation to the gun casings, where based on the trail of blood the victim would have walked around. They can't tell and paint the whole story of what happened when the person got out of the car. Why, if you can't paint that story, why, if you didn't use the evidence markers, why, if you purportedly have a very simple case, did you waste your time making your first witness a police officer whose testimony is going to get torn to shreds by the defense attorney? Big mistake in my opinion, if you ask me. From here going forward, the defense will always be able to point out that the government's investigation is completely incapable of telling the jury about the movement of the victim outside of the car. So if you're trying to inject reasonable doubt, alternative theories, you've now done a great job setting it up that the government's story has holes in it.
Woo, y'all. So literally, this is what happened right after they came back from lunch yesterday. The prosecution called the first witness to the stand, and it was actually the police officer that was first on the scene, that arrived on the scene the day that Megan Thee Stallion was assaulted. Y'all, the defense team ripped him to shreds. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, like he said at the end, they are literally feeding into the reasonable doubt that they should not be doing. And Tory Lanez has a great defense team, but let's get into what else happened after that.
All right, we wrapped up the first day of Tory Lanez trial testimony. Let me tell you what happened at the end of the day. This will be a two-parter. On this first part, let's cover what prosecutors believe is their key piece of evidence after the testimony they expect to get from Meg and the other woman who's in the car. So here's the prosecutor's point, that there's a jailhouse phone call reminder to everyone: when you get arrested and you're sitting in jail, they are listening, they are recording. What you say on that phone will be used against you. According to prosecutors, Tory calls the other woman who was in the car, Kelsey, and basically admits to shooting and apologizes profusely to her. The problem with that theory, according to the defense, is that, well, he never says he shot her. He's just apologizing profusely, and he could be apologizing for a lot of things. According to the defense, the apology is for basically blowing up Kelsey's spot and revealing that he had been in a relationship with both of them. What side will the jury believe? It's way too early in the evidence. That call on its own means nothing. In fact, the evidence that was presented was through a detective. They asked that detective, hey, when did you listen to this jailhouse call? What can you tell us about it? He basically said, yo, I heard it last week. They asked me to go retrieve it from the system. I retrieved it. I'm playing it here for y'all today. What does it mean? What does he mean? What's he talking about? I don't know that from that, so I couldn't really tell you, and he can't. And the jury is going to be looking at the rest of this evidence to really decide that, hey man, when this guy's calling Kelsey and saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, what's he talking about?
Y'all, the prosecution is getting real sloppy, like literally. The fact that they just had this police officer pull this audio last week, when this trial, this assault happened 2 years ago, you guys. They had 2 years time to get ready for this, and they are just now pulling those clips, and the officer could not even interpret what was being said on the call. Really, really, really sloppy in my opinion. But let's go on. He's gonna recap, his final thoughts on what exactly happened.
So this didn't occur to me yesterday during my coverage of the Tory Lanez trial. We're getting ready to go in here to day 2. But before I go in, let me tell you this point that sort of crystallized for me when I was on the No Jumper show talking about this case last night. Here is the prosecutor's theory of the case. And remember, prosecutors are supposed to have discretion. They're out searching for the truth. Here's their theory of the case, what they intend to prove at trial. Meg Thee Stallion exits the vehicle. Tory Lanez comes out behind her, shoots 5 times while yelling, "Dance, bitch." Meg runs away from him, walks away from him, hobbles away from him. She's now 20, 30 feet away from him inside a driveway of a residential home. She's not yelling, "Help, somebody call the police," nothing like that. They don't say that, but this is their account of the story. Okay, so let's just go back to just their facts. So she's there at the end, at the driveway. Kelsey comes out behind her. Kelsey goes to console her. What does Tory do? Now he's walking towards her and Kelsey. What does Kelsey do? She sees that, yo, this man who just shot her 5 times is coming for more. So she tries to intercept him. What does Tory do? He beats on Kelsey, physically assaults her. Kelsey has never said this truth to the police. No charges were ever pressed against Tory for Kelsey. The prosecutors are supposed to find the truth. They're supposed to use their discretion to find the truth. To me, if that's the story that they're going with, welcome to America. They're ODing on him like prosecutors do. And they're not talking about so many of the other events in this story that are critical to finding the truth. That's not the way it's supposed to be done. I'm sorry.
I could not agree more. Listening to this information and reading up on what exactly took place on day one, I would say that the prosecution did not do a great job at introducing this case to the jury for them to follow, in the sense of Megan Thee Stallion being assaulted by Tory Lanez and Tory Lanez being the aggressor, and that without a doubt he is the one that did this to Megan Thee Stallion. I feel like it's too much of Kelsey being talked about, and that's not doing anything but helping the defense team, because with Kelsey being the main key piece to the defense team saying Tory Lanez did not do this, there was someone else in the car, they both had the gunshot residue on their hands, these are two friends that are no longer friends, the prosecution should have done a better job at alienating them two from saying at this time this was her dear friend would have never touched her, X, Y, and Z. Like, that is what they should have came out the gate swinging with, utilizing the fact that they are great friends, or that they were great friends, not touching on the fact that they are no longer friends and what took place after the assault, but only going off of their previous relationship that was great, and that something horrific happening to Megan Thee Stallion that she did not deserve at the hands of Tory Lanez. That is the angle that they should have presented, but I feel like they are doing too much of talking about Kelsey and other miscellaneous facts that do not do anything but help the defense team. So today was day 2 of the trial, and as I told you guys yesterday, you guys probably read, Megan Thee Stallion was set to take the stand today, you guys. They said that when she got up there, she was visibly shaken up. They asked her if she was okay. She said no, she's sick. She can't believe she has to do this right now. And so we're going to go ahead and get into the updates of what exactly took place today during the first half of trial. I have another video to play for you guys, and then I'm going to read off another person's account of the play-by-play of what took place in the first half of trial. They're still in court right now per my information, so I'm not sure if they're out yet.
Underway. It started with Meg Thee Stallion testifying. I'm going to take you through what she testified about in the morning. We're currently on lunch break. She's going to come back and complete her testimony this afternoon. It started with questions about Tory Lanez. She testified that she knew him only for a short time leading up to this incident. They were friends. She was asked, were you intimate? She said yes. She was asked, were you exclusive? She said quite happily no. Then they asked her about her relationship with Kelsey. She said that she's known Kelsey since freshman year of college. How do you know her? How would you describe the relationship? I found her answer very interesting. She said, I quote, we did everything together. They asked her, hey, how do you feel about being here today? She was struggling through the testimony. I was a little surprised at her answer. She said, I don't feel good. I can't believe I have to come do this. Not really sounding like a victim to me. She's a strong Black woman. That's the image that the jury, I think, would have gotten of her. And I expected her to say something more like, I'm here for justice. I'm here to tell my truth. That man shot me. They asked her about when they left the party and when Tory got there. So she explained that initially she had gotten there with a larger group of people. Then later she asked Tory to come. By the time Tory got there, it was a lot fewer people. And then towards the end of the night, they asked her who was left. And she said it was basically just me, Tory, and Kelsey. And then we got in the pool. Then she said that when they were in the pool, her wig started getting loose. It was coming off. She felt uncomfortable, so she wanted to leave. She told Kelsey. Her and Kelsey went to the driver and said, hey, we want to leave. And this brings up the first point of contention where, according to Meg, the driver said, I won't leave without Tory. Now, obviously, Tory's team says Meg said she won't leave without Tory. And then the person actually, the defense attorney asked, well, why didn't Tory want to leave? And everybody was waiting for the answer to that question because that's the whole Kylie Jenner angle. Unfortunately, defense objected. The judge said sustained. She didn't answer the question, why didn't Tory leave? The whole situation in the car. She testified that, hey, look, we all got in the car. I got out and arguments started to break out. Basically, Tory started the argument. I was shocked when she dropped and admitted that this argument started with Tory saying to Meg, hey, why are you snaking your friend like this? And basically revealing that he had hooked up with both of them, that they had been cheated on by him. And this sort of led into the whole big fight. At one point, she gets out of the car, but then she did get back in because they convinced her to get back in. And then we get to the shooting. And here, there was some shocking stuff. So here's some of the key stuff. One, Meg described that, hey, look, I got out of the car, I looked back over me, and then I saw Tory holding a gun, pointing it at me, and he shot me after he said, dance, bitch. But then this is the prosecution asking the questions, and even in the prosecution asking the questions, she said stuff that makes you scratch your head, which leads you to believe that what's going to happen under cross-examination. The prosecution asked her this: where was Kelsey when Tory was doing the shooting? You know what Meg said? Meg said, I didn't see Kelsey. I only saw Tory. Question: was she in your field of vision? Because if I mean, she's right there. Where was she? If you can't answer that question, that doesn't seem like it adds up, especially not in a case where the theory from the other side is that there was a struggle and that Kelsey was the one who let off the gun. If the victim can't tell you where Kelsey is, that seems highly problematic to me. The other parts of the testimony that were a little bit confusing is they asked her, where was Tory? Was he standing on the car? Was he standing on the ground? And she said, well, he was shooting up over the window, but I don't know if he was standing on something. And they asked her, how tall is he? She said, I think he's like 5'3" or 5'4". He's taller than that, but that's not tall enough to shoot over the window of an Escalade while standing on the ground. And then they asked her, hey, was he on the passenger door, or was he on the front door or the back door? That's what she said. He's on the passenger side. And they were like, all right, well, was it the front door or the back door? She said, I don't. The other part of her testimony that I found a little confusing, it didn't mesh with what the prosecutor said in his opening. The prosecutor said in his opening that Kelsey went to where Meg was, and that after Kelsey went to where Meg was, after Meg had been shot, that Tory was approaching them. Meg's testimony today was different. Meg's testimony was not that she got shot, she went away, and then Kelsey went to where she was, and then Tory came at the two of them. No, Meg's testimony is she got shot, she went away, and then she saw Kelsey and Tory both coming to them. Again, does not add up. We finished with, why did you not tell the police the truth? And this was very interesting, whereas typically prosecutors are in the business of supporting police officers. Here, they elicited testimony where Meg said, look, I didn't tell the police the truth because this was around the time George Floyd had been shot, and I thought if I told them the truth, they were going to shoot Tory. I didn't feel safe with the police. And I thought this was kind of weird, but she said it. She said, I'm a member of the Black community, and in my community, we don't cooperate. What do I think? I think that the rest of the direct testimony is going to come out. It will be interesting. I think the defense attorney has a lot of room. Hey, what's up, bro? I think the defense attorney has a lot of room to poke holes in the story. And I think the rest of the witnesses are going to say things that the defense attorney is going to have to show that it doesn't all add up. That if Kelsey was right there, how is Meg Thee Stallion going and telling you that when I turned around and I saw Tory shot me, I have no idea where Kelsey was? Day 2 of the Tory Lanez.
Baby, this is too much. And hey AK, hey Verena, hey Nisha, hey Timone. Yeah, this, like I already said, this the prosecution is very, very sloppy. I just truly cannot believe that they even did not get this story down pat, this narrative, because it's basically only it's they have to tell a story, and it has to be proven without reasonable doubt. They know that the defense has a great defense when it comes to reasonable doubt because they are using Kelsey. So, as you guys heard, the bombshell was that Megan Thee Stallion finally admitted to having sexual relations with Tory Lanez. You guys know she had this very highly profile interview with Gayle King earlier this year, and she was ripped to shreds because Gayle King asked her, did she ever have sex with Tory? And Megan Thee Stallion said no. So here right now, it's been proven that she is dishonest. She has lied to the very people that has supported her. There's been so many women going to bat for her, and I'm not saying that they should turn their back on her because she lied. However, it just does prove that if you lied about that, if you couldn't come forward about that, how do we know that you're not simply going off of what you think versus what you know? And then, so once she said that she had relations with Kelsey, a part that the lawyer forgot to mention in the video was that Megan also admitted on the stand that her friend Kelsey had a crush on Tory Lanez, in that she did not want her friend to find out that they had sex, y'all. That is what she said today on the stand. So that is another less than honest type of act. You said that you guys have done everything together. You guys have been friends since freshman year of college, and you know that she likes this guy. You have had relations with this guy, but you don't want to tell your best friend. Why? Why? Again, it's just painting the narrative that she is a dishonest person. Now, if we're looking at the view of the case, this proves the defense team saying you are going after my client for no reason. You are going after them. You have said several lies, mistruths, and we can't, this is what it is. You don't want to admit that Kelsey actually shot you, or that no one shot you. It was a struggle for a gun. I don't know exactly what they're going to say, but that's the angle, and they're doing a good job at proving that, or she's doing a good job at helping them prove that, because she has said so many lies, and a lot of people isn't feeling that. She also made another statement on the stand that I just felt like was reckless to say, and that was the comment about she is a part of the Black community, and that they don't really uh trust the police and communicate with the police. That is a kitchen table talk thing, right? So if you are going to say that on the stand, why are you up there, right? Because you don't trust the police. Why are you needing them now? She needs to be painting the narrative that she is a um strong woman, and that she is to um trying to stand her ground and fight for her rights. She's mixing the two up. In one sense, she's on the stand, visibly upset, saying she's sick. She can't believe she has to be here. But then she turns around and says that she is a part of a community that does not call the police. It's like, which one, sis? The prosecution should have helped her and guided her on the things that she should have said and the personality she should have portrayed. Now, I'm gonna take in consideration Cardi B. Now, I know that her and Tasha K's case was a civil case, but I'm just talking about personality and who you have to be on the stand in front of a jury. So remember, the jury is of your peers, so they need to just see you as that. When Cardi B was on the stand, remember, Cardi B as the celebrity is very rough and tough. But unlike that personality on stand, the entire time she was going against Tasha K, she was soft and delicate like a flower. Everything that was presented was to show that she was a broken woman at the hands of Tasha K's harsh allegations. She cried on stand. She had her therapist on the stand. You guys, that's just building a personality. It's building something for the jury to sympathize with. So you have to be very consistent on who you are portraying on this stand. For Megan Thee Stallion to show two different sides of the coin on the stand is very sloppy. They should have prepped her. I'm not sure if they did, but I don't want to say court is kind of like playing a role. It's not, but you have to get them to understand your point of view to help the case. And with her being so sloppy over her testimony, it just really proved that she is a liar. And that's not really good for the prosecution. AK said, regardless of the outcome of this case, Megan will be seen as a liar from now on. Absolutely. Another thing was also, you guys know when the police first got there, remember, she lied to the officer. She said she stepped on glass. So we are up to the fourth lie at this point at the hands of Megan Thee Stallion. This is not looking too good. That's just my opinion on the case so far. Trey said, did they prep her? She definitely should have played up being the victim. I don't think she should have played up being the victim as far as crying and being fragile, but I think she should more play up the person she has been portraying on social media, which is a strong individual fighting for her rights. She should have been showing that I am here, like I was on Twitter, like I was on Instagram, like I was on Gayle King. I am saying you did this. You hurt me, and I need justice for you hurting me. So it's kind of like she should have stayed in that consistent tone. That way everybody could have followed her. But she's up there like, I can't believe I have to do this. Girl, you had 2 years. You had 2 years. Stop that. Stop that. Get that out of here. Corey is very much a performance. Meg was not well prepared. She will forever be tarnished by this. Absolutely. Now, I'm just going to refresh you guys' memory. This is the famous clip from Gayle King. This is how she was acting, and this is what she said.
Did you have an intimate relationship with him?
Like sexual?
Yeah. Megan, did you have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? Yes, that's my question.
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
So why do you think he's putting out the story that the two of you had a relationship and that you're making the whole thing up?
I think that he is trying to deflect from the fact that he committed a crime.
Do y'all see how she was up there? You could follow her. She said he's trying to deflect that he committed a crime. We didn't have sex. He shot me. He committed a crime. That's who she should have been on the stand as well. Very much so, still hurt, but going after what she believes is right and justice for herself. That should have been very consistent on the stand today. She still could have dropped tears. She still could have been soft, but she should have been stern in the fact that he is deflecting. He is lying. He committed a crime. He hurt me. That's who she should have been on the stand. Because she was all over the place, I don't know. I really don't know. I wonder how it's going to go. So the last part, yes, the coolest jazz. No, so she was getting right back on stand after lunch. I have the New York Times. No, she admitted on the stand that she has sex. Sexual relationship and sex are not the same thing. Gayle King was very particular with her words, but Megan Thee Stallion was as well. Megan Thee Stallion knew exactly what Gayle King was asking. She knew that she was asking if they had sex. And either way it goes, she knew everyone was asking that because Tory Lanez had already said that. Tory Lanez, she's proven Tory Lanez's story, unfortunately. Tory Lanez said that they was fighting because they both wanted him. Tory Lanez said that they was fighting because they was both going after him and had sex with him. She proved that. She just said on the stand that they had sex. Kelsey liked Tory Lanez and that she did not want to hurt her friend. She did not want her friend to find out that they had sex. That is proven Tory Lanez's story of that they blew up in the car because he let it out that they had sex. It's proven the story. It's crazy. Am I saying that this is all something that should be him or her being shot at should be forgiven? No. But again, we're just going off of what can be proven and what cannot. And if they cannot prove that Tory Lanez did it, they're not going to win this. The prosecution's not going to win. Okay, so jumping into the last part. This is the the Los Angeles Times article. Now, this journalist was doing step-by-step updates of what took place on trial today. Again, like I told you guys earlier, this is not televised. So we are depending on the people that are there, going off of their recollection. So we have to look at multiple people because multiple people are going to remember different things. So in this article, we're going to hear a little bit more information of what took place today that the video did not tell us. Okay. And y'all seen that the man, the lawyer for workers, he was talking really fast because he has to remember this. So this is just another article that we're going to read. India said, their plan is to paint Meg as a liar and she's making it easy. Meg shouldn't have done any interviews and she should have a consistent story. Absolutely. Period, point blank. The coolest jazz said, making Tory's word more reliable. So far, he hasn't been caught in any lies. No. I've always thought Meg didn't have a clue what happened. She's just going along with what she thinks happens. Absolutely. I agree. I don't think she clearly understands what has happened. And her saying that she does not know what Kelsey was in the car and she does not know what seat Tory was in or how tall he is. I did Google. They said that Tory's 5'6". I don't know how true that is. I'm 5'4". No, I'm 5'3", 5'4"-ish. So I don't know if you can stand up and fire over the window. It's just shit. They measure his height and put him inside an Escalade. We know where that came from. And this is how she looked in court today. I would say that she looked beautiful. I like the bob on her. I love the suit. She looked stunning. Megan Thee Stallion is a beautiful woman to me. But again, baby, y'all got to go back to the drawing board. Let me find the part that I wanted to read to you guys. Okay. So it says Pete is Megan Thee Stallion. Pete said Tuesday that she was driving away from a party at Kylie Jenner's house with Peterson, which is Daystar, Tory Lanez, his bodyguard, and Kelsey Harris, a longtime friend of Pete, when an argument erupted inside their SUV on Nichols Canyon Road. Peterson became upset that Pete asked him to leave the party, she said. Then Peterson, I'm just going to say their names. Then Tory Lanez turned around and told Megan she needed to stop lying to Kelsey about their relationship. Megan Thee Stallion told the court that she and Tory Lanez had become friends and bonded over the loss of their mothers in the months before the assault. They also occasionally had a sexual relationship, which Kelsey learned for the first time inside the SUV, according to Megan Thee Stallion. So when Megan Thee Stallion was on the stand, she did go into detail about how Tory Lanez and her became close. Now, you guys probably don't remember, but during this time, she is telling the truth. Her mother and her grandmother had just passed back to back. So first it was her grandmother, then it was her mother. And then the pandemic happened. She was distraught. But at that same time, Tory Lanez was doing like those Instagram lives, and he was like doing he was a radio host. And remember, there was a couple lives that Megan Thee Stallion and him was hanging out. So it was clear that they was bonding and that he was really being her friend during this difficult time. So I remember this era. I remember this time. So I know she's telling the truth there. But she says that Kelsey found out that her and Tory Lanez had sex for the first time inside the SUV on the same day that the altercation happened. Kelsey had a crush on Tory Lanez, according to Megan Thee Stallion. And after the revelation about their sex life, the argument spiraled out of control. Tory Lanez called both women bitches and hoes. Megan Thee Stallion testified, and then the two began bickering over their musical careers. Megan Thee Stallion asked to be let out of the car, but as she walked away from the vehicle, Tory Lanez allegedly fired 5 shots and yelled, "Dance, bitch," wounding Megan Thee Stallion's feet. "I am in shock. I am scared. I'm hearing the gun go off, and I can't believe he's shooting at me," said Megan Thee Stallion. The group drove away from the area with Megan Thee Stallion trying to stanch her bloody wound with towels in the back seat. So she got back in the car, according to her testimony. She got back in the car. She tried to tend to her wounds, and that Tory Lanez immediately promised each woman $1 million if they did not tell the police about the incident, claiming he was on probation prior for a weapon offense. So this is what Megan Thee Stallion is saying on the stand today, that once she got back in the car, she was trying to tend to her wounds. Tory Lanez is like, "Hey, bro, I will pay both of y'all $1 million each. I am on probation. I cannot get in trouble for this." But listen to this. Tory Lanez's attorney, George Mag, blah blah blah, has repeatedly said that his client was never on probation. So this is going to be another monkey wrench in the case. If they are able to prove that he was never on probation, then that whole hearsay conversation of "I'm gonna pay you guys $1 million" is null and void. If he was not on probation, why would he say that? Why? Why? There's no proof. If they can prove that he was not on probation, then that proves that, hey, he didn't offer you guys $1 million. Why would he? Why would he say he's on probation and give you $1 million? That makes no sense. Exactly, Jazz. Why would she get back in the car? Why would you get back in the car? It's really crazy. But that's why I really wanted to read this to you guys, because it goes more into detail about exactly what happened. So once she was back in the car and Tory Lanez offered each woman $1 million, moments later, the Los Angeles police officers stopped the car. And that is where the famous body cam footage shows her limping and all over the ground, all of them having their hands in the air. It says Megan Thee Stallion did not initially report the shooting. On Tuesday, which is today, Megan Thee Stallion repeated her statements that she did not feel comfortable talking to the LAPD, especially during 2022 in the wakes of killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. She said, and I quote, At the time, we were at the height of police brutality. I felt like if I said this man has just shot me, they might shoot first and ask questions later. I don't feel safe in the car. I don't feel safe with the police either. Megan Thee Stallion also noted that in the Black community, it's not really acceptable to be cooperating with the police officers. But yet, here you are on stand with the prosecution. Very horrible to say. I don't know why she said that. Baby, you should have just kept that at the kitchen table. Yeah, no, hold on. I'm trying to go down to okay, so Tory Lane's defense team says that this case is about jealousy. He said that the fight in the car was between a highly intoxicated Megan Thee Stallion and her one-time close friend, Kelsey. While he has not flat out said Kelsey fired the weapon, which has been a popular theory among Tory Lane's supporters, he has contended his client's DNA was not found on the weapon used in the attack. So while there was gunshot residue on both Kelsey and Tory Lane's hands, his DNA was not on the weapon. So the gunshot powder could have just been because he was in close range, but his DNA was not on the weapon. Megan Thee Stallion said that Tory Lanez contacted her multiple times to apologize, including one call from a number she didn't recognize when he described watching a video of her after the shooting where he could see the pain in her eyes. This is what she said. She said that she told him, "Why are you being weird? You know you shot me and now you're watching me," is what she allegedly testified on stand asking Tory Lanez. It says, although Kelsey and Megan Thee Stallion are estranged, Kelsey is expected to testify and corroborate a text message she sent shortly after the attack, which read, "Tory shot Meg." Now, this piece of information is when allegedly, if you guys remember, allegedly Kelsey texted this to Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard. Do y'all remember that? That infamous text, she shot Meg, Tory shot Meg. Now, I remember Gayle King breaking it down, and I remember someone else breaking it down. The time of the text did not match up with the time of the incident. So I think that's why people were trying to refute it and, dispute what actually was said and, if that was true. So I'm kind of curious and I can't wait to see exactly how they're able to prove that this text message is actually real and that it happened in real time. But I believe that it happened hours later. It said that Tory Lanez did not make eye contact with Megan Thee Stallion when she entered the courtroom, but he took notes while she was talking. So he was making sure that he was remembering the things that she said. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, that was it. That was just another detail into what takes place. Once we hear from Kelsey, it's going to be showtime, in my opinion, for the defense team. And I feel like they have a lot to go off of and possibly win this. Thank you, Audrey. Why would you say that as a people we don't fuck fuck with all all on the stand? Girl, I can't believe she said it. I can't believe I said what? And I had saw that on Twitter because y'all know people are also doing like updates on Twitter. I had saw that tweet and I was like, surely y'all lying. Like she did not say that on the stand. Like it's just crazy. So that's what happened so far today on day 2. Megan Thee Stallion came out. She admitted that her and Tory effed. She admitted that Kelsey did have a crush. Now, when she said crush, I'm confused. Did she have a crush or was she in a relationship with Tory? Because according to Tory, he smashed both. He has had relations with both. So maybe it was secrets between both of the friends because Tory is saying something completely different. But Megan is saying that, yes, she is acknowledging that Kelsey had a crush on Tory and that she did not want Kelsey to find out that they had had relations. Really weird, especially for them to have been friends. I feel like this could have just been a simple conversation. But it does speak to a motive. Megan, you are sneaky. You're slimy. Now, if you had relations before Kelsey told you that she had a crush on Tory Lanez, as a friend, you should have been like, girl, I hit that, but you can have him. It was mid, it was good, it was bad, whatever you want to say. And y'all can decide as a friend if what y'all feel like is right for girl code. But keeping a secret with someone like Tory Lanez, girl, that was never going to work. It was never going to work. And the whole motive of why he would shoot at you just doesn't make sense unless, they're able to come up with a plausible motive. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I do think he did it, but can we prove it? It's all in what you can prove at this point. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? How do you guys think that this is gonna go now that we on day 2? Please make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to just double check to make sure there isn't any other updates. Let me check Twitter real quick. Y'all know, let me check with my peoples on Twitter because they're doing updates. I don't think he did it. I believe it was really a struggle. But I don't understand why you would even pull out a firearm. Like, it makes no sense. And again, these are young, intoxicated people that should not be anywhere near a firearm. And I do worry about, aside from this case, I do worry about Megan Thee Stallion's mental health because I do know that her fans and her supporters are going to eat her alive. The people that hate her are going to eat her alive. Y'all know Nikki's crew is coming for her, baby. They're going to eat her alive and they're going to paint her as a liar. She has no family. A lot of times she has broken down and expressed how she feels so alone. I really did like her new album, you guys. Bad bitches have bad days too. Like, I feel so bad for her. But I do feel like she just is in a vulnerable space, and rightfully so. She has no family, no mother, no father, no grandmother. She is literally a lone wolf on this earth, and she has made mistakes. She has done things that she probably regrets. Did she deserve to be shot at? No. But I feel like this trial is either going to make her or break her. And with her being so fragile, baby, it might break her. If he didn't shoot her, then why didn't he just say Kelsey did it in the first place? I don't know. I don't know. And mind you, let's be clear, Tory Lanez is a liar. Tory Lanez is a stone cold liar too. So hell, we'll never know. Kelsey pulled it out because her and Meg were fighting. I think he will be found guilty, but Megan is going to take a hit too. I feel bad for her. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be found guilty. That they didn't process the scene correctly. Megan did not see who shot her. She didn't see. She didn't even know where Kelsey was. I'm struggling because there have been no inconsistencies in Tory's story from the album to the courtroom. No, it really hasn't, but he's also a liar. When he assaulted August Alsina a few months ago, he said he was at the studio, posted a picture of being at the studio, but then they found him in 4K assaulting August Alsina. So he is sick and vindictive. He will lie. His story hasn't changed that they were fighting over him because literally Megan just confirmed that. But I think he could have definitely shot her. That's because he had an open case. He shouldn't be putting his hands on people though, so I see both sides. I really don't know how this is gonna go. Like I said, I'm mad that this isn't on TV. This is some shit I will pay for. India said, I think they were all in a drunken fuel fight. I just can't believe Megan took this case this far when she doesn't even know what happened. Bingo. Thank you. That is it. You took the words right out of my mind that I was trying to get together. I can't believe she took it this far either. And I feel like she took it this far, one, because she really didn't, prosecution picked it up. They picked it up. So it wasn't really on her per se. But I don't know. 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 They had plenty of opportunities to settle this. Tory is a hothead and a street dude, yeah, and he's short. Can't trust him. Even if it's proven that he shot her, she still looks like a liar and a bad friend. Absolutely. And like I said, the public opinion is worse, in my opinion, than the opinion of the courts, because she's not going to be able to wake up without a mean comment, wake up without someone targeting her, and she's already fragile. I don't think she's going to be able to get over it. I think he gets off because there's literally no evidence to prove he did anything. And honestly, Kelsey has all the motive. Yep, and that's all that they have to prove is that hey, we don't know who did it. Hey everyone, how do y'all all think Kelsey will portray? I think she will say again anything against Megan since it's been reported she will testify in defense of Megan. So this is not Megan the Stallion's case. This is the state versus Tory Lanez. So she's subpoenaed to testify her accounts of the day. So she can't technically defend Megan. She has to be completely honest because the state is calling for her. So she can't, if she, even if she wants to like bash her and not tell the truth, if she commits perjury, she will be in trouble. So Kelsey has no choice but to say what exactly happened, whether she likes Megan or not. That's the monkey wrench. That's the monkey wrench. Now y'all know Kelsey, she has made her own diss tracks about Megan the Stallion. She has alleged that Megan the Stallion has talked about her kids or her son that she just had, and that her Megan the Stallion sent her friends. So it's gonna be interesting. Um, and the only reason this case came about is because of her live. Yep. Well, she alleges that the doctor that pulled the bullet fragments made the police come up to the hospital. Tori is a better liar. Meg talks too much. I really wonder who's advising her. I don't know. The prosecution, I don't know what they over there doing. Whoever Cardi lawyer was, Megan should have gotten them to advise her. Yeah, she definitely should have gotten her own lawyer, even though it's not her case. She should have gotten her own lawyer to make sure that she covered all her, all her bases for sure. Yeah, all them interviews she did are going to contradict what she says now on stand. Yep. True. In defense, meaning in defense, Megan portrayal of the timeline and happening. Yeah. SBC said, what about the witness like Sean Kelly that seen the incident? No one has talked about Sean Kelly. I don't know when they go on stand or if they have. The only two witnesses that I've heard so far is the police officer that arrived on the scene and now Megan the Stallion. So I'll look into Sean Kelly. I think her label pushed for this and are gonna drop her once everything plays out. Baby. And y'all know Megan Thee Stallion still has her other case with her record label, in regards to getting out of her contract and saying that For the Hotties album is actually an album and that it solidifies her 3 albums that she was supposed to do under her label. She's still fighting with that. I'm just waiting on the defense information. Me too. I don't know if they instruct her or if and she did interviews anyway, but she never moved smart in this whole thing. She never did. Now let's be clear. A lot of people said that she should have never did interviews. She never should have talked about it. It was never once the state picked it up, it was no longer her case. So she was well within her rights to talk about it. It's just frowned upon, like you guys are saying, because she's not been consistent with her story. And they're gonna the people, the public opinion is gonna hone into that. Megan already looks bad no matter the outcome. Unless they have him on camera shooting her, he won't be getting convicted. Yeah, it's up in the air. They're swinging. His defense team is really, really good. They're really, really good. He's getting his money's worth. The state picked up the case, so there's really nothing her or her label was able to do. Yeah, okay, so you just repeated what's that. 5 officers testified yesterday, all basically confirming they didn't process the scene correctly. Yeah, which was really weird to me too, on how y'all have a whole case surrounded by this altercation. Y'all have to go off of evidence. It's evidence based. This is not something that can be proven without the evidence. So they have the evidence saying that, oh, thank you for the super chat. I've never gotten one before. Thank you. But they know that they should have basically said for certain what had happened, and then y'all know that the one of the officers also said yesterday that he just heard the audio of Tory Lanez, saying sorry last week. He don't even know what it means. Another bad choice of the prosecution. I think Megan will be fine in the long run. Remember, people love a comeback story. Yeah, that's true, Trey. But baby, the Nicki Minaj fans and the Tory Lanez fans, remember, Tory Lanez is a vet in the game. Whether we like him or not, they're going to eat her ass alive while they can. SCB said, so what about the nail and the chain piece they found on the street? So of course there's some sort of struggle or fight between somebody. Yeah, but they're not Tory Lane's team is not saying that there was not a fight. They're saying that it was a fight between the two girls and Tory was just stuck in the middle. He was just innocent. So remember, it's just a play on words. There was a fight, but it wasn't his fight. It was the girls fighting, and he was just in the middle because they were fighting over him, figuratively and literally. I feel like she really told the truth. If she told the truth, there would be no case to pick up, in my opinion. Yeah. He still would have been in trouble, or they would have still did their investigation in regards to, firing a weapon, having unlawful use of a weapon. But if they couldn't prove what happened, they would have had no choice but to drop the case, period, point blank. But seeing that they went through with it, the prosecution went through with it, I don't know, they're clear thinking. They're being lazy. They're not really collecting enough evidence, or not enough evidence, collecting enough statements that are evidence based to prove their claims. They should have threw this out. And Megan Thee Stallion should have went after him civilly, because she could have got a gag order on him. You were calling me a whore in social media. You're doing this, that, and the third. She should have did the gag order on Kelsey. She came out with a who shot ya diss track. Yeah, I would have put gags on these hoes. Like, that's what I would have did. Don't be talking about me. Period, point blank. Next time you talk about me, you're gonna pay me. That's what she could have done. Meg is incredible. Witness period. This case is circumstantial at best. This case shouldn't even made it to trial. I don't know why. Why it made it to trial. No, SBC. It couldn't have been a kidnapping charges or attempt murder or whatever. No. She wasn't kidnapped. She got right back in that car after being fired at 5 times. She said she didn't know where Kelsey was, but then turned around and said that her, Kelsey, and him was in the car, and he offered both of them money. So when he was shooting you, where was Kelsey? Where was she? Because if you got back in the car, like I said, it's hard trying to cover this case, because I want to know what made her get back in the car. What did they say? What did they do? Like, this is why we need to be watching this, because no one can really say what happened. But I would love for them to say, and what made you get back in the car? Did he calm down? Did he say, I'm so sorry, I was just playing? What took place to make you get back in that car? And we know that he offered you allegedly $1 million. That right there could have also been a smoking gun of what happened to get her back in that car. If someone shot at you, fired at you 5 times, you're in shock, you can't believe it. He's talking about dance, bitch. But then once you got back in the car, or when they were trying to get you back in the car, what did Tory do? Did Tory speak up, or did Kelsey speak up? Did the driver speak up? Who spoke up? Meg been getting trashed since this happened. Now that court should making herself, showing herself as a liar, she's gonna have a hard time redeeming. Yeah, she really is. They already eating her alive on Twitter. Because she made those public claims, we are here. She took this too far. Sounds like a drunk ass night to me. Everybody acting a fool. Absolutely. Everyone. And like I said, I hope Megan can grow from this. She is going through a lot. I'm not gonna take that away from her. I could not imagine losing everyone close to me, going through things, then losing my best friend. We're not friends no more. Her acting out sexually, I just feel like it's I don't like the fact that we're like monitoring her vagina. Like I don't like that. I don't like how Tory Lane's defense team is trying to allege that she's done it to Kelsey X amount of times by sleeping with her people that she likes. You know, I don't like that because I'm all for pussy power. I'm a woman first. I feel like what we choose to do with our bodies, as long as we're practicing safe sex, it's no one's business. So I do feel bad for her that that is on Front Street, especially when she's going through a lot. We already know she could be trying to numb her pain. She could have been drinking. She was of course having relations with Tory Lanez. This man's clearly shorter than her. He ain't he's balding. Like, you know, it was just a cry for help. Who is shocked after shooting 5 times and not even and she even said that Tory, the professional bodyguard, was shook, looking crazy, laugh out loud crazy. I That's what I'm saying. They were shocked. They were shocked. Meg should have a lawyer advising her. She's going outside by her own words. She is putting her foot in her mouth. Absolutely. Baby, I feel bad for her because I've been there. Losing parents are not easy, but baby, let this be a wake up call. Absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all know me. I'm all for a good come up story, you know, someone redeeming themselves. But this case, it's crazy. I did not think it was gonna go this way this soon. Like we only on day 2. They might wrap this shit up by Friday, okay? This might be real short. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I thank you guys for rocking with me. Please again, do not forget to like this video and subscribe if you have not. We'll be back tomorrow for day 3 of the trial. Mm, mm, mm. It's too much, but see y'all later.